Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Now I know you guys are probably wondering what's happening. I just finished my recording of this video and I forgot to mention something very important. So I'll be putting this before I do, the end of the video. So I'm gonna put this towards the end of it, at the beginning of it, and then I'm gonna start it. But this is after I finish recording the video. I do want to tell you guys this. I'm gonna be gone for a whole week. I'm gonna be leaving on Sunday and coming back on the 4th because I'm going on a cruise ship. Yeah, I'm going on vacation for a whole week on a cruise, so I'll be back after that week. So sorry if you guys are gonna be wondering where I'm at. I won't be making any videos and I won't be uploading anything while I'm on vacation. I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video. I was going to, but I forgot, but it's okay. I remember now, and I'll just remember to put this towards the beginning of the video. So just to let you guys know and give you guys a heads up, I will be going on vacation for a week, so I won't be uploading. I will be uploading next week when I come back. So yeah, and I do have a couple big videos for that when I do come back, so stay tuned for that. Hey guys, Dragon Ball for Life here today, and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be talking about how powerful is Saitama / Garou. Now I know I didn't put him in the title, but I will be talking about his power and his strength in this video too, since he's pretty much somewhat comparable to Saitama, and their big battle towards the ending did have him a lot in it. So now I'm going to be using the feats from the ending of the manga, not throughout his entire, career, just towards the ending of it. And I'm making this video because my last video I did of this was Chuck's video on Goku versus Superman. I mean, not Superman, Goku versus Saitama. And he was talking about the end of the manga Saitama's feats and how it would compare to, Goku and the Dragon Ball characters. And I stated in that video I hadn't read the manga, so I need to see the ending parts to, get a full-on grasp of how powerful he was. And I didn't get to read it at that time because the online manga website that I go on did not have the final chapters. It was like missing like 15 chapters, which wouldn't work out. So I was able to luckily find yesterday a manga website where it had the final chapters, and I was able to read and get some screenshots. So in this video I'm going to be talking about how powerful he is by going through some of his impressive feats throughout his fight against Garou. Let's start off with his first feat that we see. He fights this big giant monster creature, and this monster creature is actually quite dangerous and stuff. And Saitama casually runs in, he's running on water, and punches this creature so hard that it sends a major shockwave, and it basically creates a giant trench in the water. We've seen this all the time in anime where a character, has an attack and it cuts through it. So it cuts completely through the water and it makes the water go away, and he literally knocks the water all out of, in the fight. By him, attacking this creature, he was able to wipe out all the water from this ocean and create a big, cut a big line through it, just showcasing his, amazing strength. Then the next, impressive feat we see is, while he's fighting as Garou, Garou is adapting and getting stronger and stronger, but no matter how much stronger he's getting, he's not really damaging Saitama, so he starts to go crazy, and he's like punching him through buildings and stuff, and then he fights him in this island area and he smashes him through a mountain. So he's able to destroy a mountain. He destroys a mountain on top of Saitama, and it still doesn't do anything to him. Now this feat is even more impressive than that, because not only does he destroy the mountain by smashing him through it, but it sends a complete shockwave throughout the planet itself that you see reaching all the way to the bottom. But the planet's still intact. And not only does it do that, but apparently there's another manga there's one of the panels right after where there's these it says in another dimension or something, and there's these creatures saying the Earth's magnetic and gravitational fields are out of whack, and then it was stating something like space is warping and a hole is opening in the dimensional seal. So it's weird because it says another dimension, but they're talking about Earth, which confused me, because also it's like the shockwave, okay, that makes sense, is very powerful, that not only destroyed the mountain, but it was sent a shockwave throughout the entire planet. But how does that affect another dimension? But whatever, it's this slam was so powerful that it destroyed a mountain, sent a shockwave through the planet, messed up the Earth's magnetic and gravitational field, and was able to, affect another dimension, space and warp and stuff. So that was also quite an impressive feat done by Saitama and Garou in their fight. Then we see later on in their fight between Garou and Saitama, Garou now, he charges up an attack and he releases it called Gamma Ray Burst, where it basically looks like, if you've seen a supernova when it happens, it shoots out gamma jets from each end like a stream of being. And this also happens with quasars. When you go to the center of a galaxy where there's a black hole, you see these quasars are firing off these jet of gamma radiation on each end, and he does that same technique to hit Saitama with. Now, I wouldn't say it's on the same level as a supernova or a quasar, and they do mention that this happens when stars explode. It does resemble it, and it does have gamma radiation, but it is not on the level of a supernova. The reason why I'm saying this is if it was on the level of supernova, it would have obliterated the planet, which it didn't, and it does do significant amount of damage, but it doesn't destroy everything. Though it is a gamma ray burst, which is still quite powerful and impressive, if I'm being honest. He also showcases later on, due to the fact that he can, produce a gamma ray, attack. He showcases that his body now emits just radiation. I think gamma radiation, but it emits radiation so powerful that it kills all the heroes in the vicinity that are there. None of the heroes are able to withstand the gamma radiation and die, except for one character, which like I said, I have not really read the, One Punch Man manga. I've only started reading towards the ending because for this video, and there's this character who's, I think, from another timeline or something, but this guy uses weird dimensional powers and he's not affected by it because he has some barrier that protects him. But everybody else around the vicinity died to his gamma radiation, showcasing that even just naturally standing next to him, you'll be killed. Then the guy uses his portal ability where he tries to collapse him into it, but he's able to escape it later on, and we find out the way he was able to escape it was the fact that Garou was able to understand his ability and then adapt it to himself and basically be able to use the ability himself and escaped it so he wouldn't be killed. He breaks out of it, he's about to attack the guy, and he says with these energy levels he can destroy the entire Earth. He said this energy could kill the Earth. So yeah, after he broke out of the gates and stuff, his power was amping up more and more. And this is by the time where Garou got his awakened form. Prior to this, he was getting stronger, but he was still not significantly strong enough until there's this godly being that basically gave him some power to power him up. And I will talk about Garou, how he got changed in his design with the galaxy looking thing, because I do think there's a big misconception with him and his design that a lot of people get, but I'll get to that towards the ending. But when he got his awakened state and he was releasing more of his power, the energy that he was emitting was so powerful that it would have destroyed the planet, and it was already killed off all the people on the planet itself because of the mass amount of radiation he was able to produce. But he also has the ability to copy abilities and use it himself. Then he wants to get Saitama super pissed to the point where Saitama goes off on him, and the only way to do this was to basically trigger him. So what does he do? He gets Genos, who's basically he lost his arms and his legs. He grabs him, punches a hole through his chest, and rips out his core, basically killing him. His blood splatters everywhere. Saitama arrives, but he arrives too late. His friend is dead. Saitama is now pissed, and he's no longer, he's no longer having that deadpan look on his face where he doesn't have any emotions. He is now enraged. This is the most angry he's ever been, because not only have all the other heroes died because he wasn't there to save them, but also his best friend and his pupil also got killed in a brutal fashion, and he wasn't there to save him. So now he's super pissed, and they both lunge at each other with their max power. Saitama goes at him with a serious punch, not like those regular serious punch. He's going at him with a full power punch, and Garou copies his ability and goes with the same punch too. And they hit so hard that the other guy, I forgot what his name is, but with the energy stuff, states that their attack is gonna blow this planet Earth to smithereens. So what he does is he transports them to outer space, and then even as he transports them to outer space, the energy is going to be destroying the planet. So he creates a portal to send the energy off to the side so it doesn't destroy the Earth. And he's struggling, but he does get help from these other godly beings, so they help him. He creates this portal and he sends it off, and this is where the more crazy stuff comes up. As you see, he sends it off. You see a big dent on the moon, and then you see a big energy blast passing past the Earth and going off in the distance. And this is where the most impressive feat we see throughout this entire battle. And this is the biggest feat that people keep on showing and using, and that is where there's a big gap in space. You see all the other stars and galaxies around it, and there's a huge hole all the way into the side. This was from the collision of full powered Saitama and full powered Goro hitting with the max power together, basically combining both their energy of their like strikes, being redirected by the other guy to a safer location so it doesn't destroy the earth, and it leaves this big hole there, which equates a lot of people to believe that this makes Saitama either multi-solar system level or either multi-galaxy level, because they consider all those blips of lights being galaxies. Then we see them on Jupiter's moon, and as they're fighting there, Goro also took like the transporting ability that the other guy did, so now he's trying to transport around, but Saitama kicks it away while he's trying to transport him, and he also grabs the guy's transporting thing and punches him off, and he says he can even grab subspace gates. Now, a lot of people equate this to being like, high dimensional level, and I can see where they're coming from with him grabbing a thing that can go through it and kicking it away. I don't think he destroyed it as in destroying a dimensional rift or whatever. He basically, the guy was trying to open the dimensional rift and send him through it, but he kicked it away before he could, fully do it. And when he grabbed it, that I will give him, that was quite impressive that he was able to grab onto it. But I don't know how to equate that in calculations. Like, how do you calculate that into feats, It's an impressive feat, but how do you calculate it specifically? And then he is now getting mad, and he puts his hand under the moon's surface, grabs it, throws it, and flips up, and calls it Sears Table Flip. That's the name of the move. And this move is so impressive, it's so powerful that when he grabs the ground and rips it, it doesn't just, rip a major chunk of the ground and just, tosses it over. It rips off, you can see the entire ground is completely shaking and moving, but not only that, you see around the moon, there's a complete circle of it getting completely destroyed, and you see later on, the entire moon gets completely shattered. So by him just putting his hand underneath the moon surface and, flipping it and stuff, he not only was able to create a giant tidal wave of rock from this moon, but also completely encompass the entire planet with that destruction. And you see the entire not planet, moon, and you see the entire moon completely obliterated into just space rocks. And as is doing this, he's bouncing off the space rocks and hitting Goro, and Goro's trying to go through the teleporter, and as he teleports, Saitama follows him, punches him so hard that he slams into literally every piece of the rock of the moon that was completely, shattered into pieces. He slams off of them, and you see like a cool design off of it. But he destroys it once again. Quite an impressive feat. And then we see the other one where, Chuck talked about how one of his biggest abilities is this progression of his power. He progresses in his power significantly, and that is true. They show the graph where Goro, he states himself that I'm getting stronger and stronger, but no matter how much I'm getting stronger, he's just significantly better than me. And we see that Saitama is technically getting, they're both growing, but Saitama is infinitely growing. Saitama was already above him, and now he's growing even faster, so he has even more of an advantage, and that's why he's beating him. But the problem I see here that a lot of people make, and that Chuck mentioned, he stated that this means that just like Goku and stuff, he has a high potential where he can get stronger and stronger. And people try to equate this to like, oh yeah, Goku gets stronger the more he fights. But the thing is, if you actually read the manga thing, the reason why Saitama was getting stronger or his power was exponentially growing was not because he was, fighting and getting stronger. It was the fact that he was finally, for once in his life, actually showing his full power and his full motion of rage. Because before, he was either nonchalant about it, or didn't care, or had a little bit of seriousness put into it. But now, since, Goro died, Genos died, and all those other people got killed by Goro, he was so pissed to the point where he was not holding back at all, and he was, he had no calm emotion at that point. He was pure rage. So this is showcasing his power. So his power is basically going up through rage. Now we've seen this throughout Dragon Ball. Characters get stronger from fighting, from training, from Zenkai boost, but also rage. You can see rage boost all the time. So he's basically getting a rage boost, but different to other characters, he usually doesn't get angry. So this is the only time he's really gotten angry. So this is why his power is accelerating. I think it's a mix of two things. One, he's going full on out, which he's never done before, and two, it's accelerating due to his rage boost. So I'm not saying that he can't get stronger, but people stating that he will just get infinitely stronger every time, I think that only depends on how angry he can get. And maybe he might have a limit to how much angry he could get, and we haven't seen it. I'm not saying that that's a definitively true. I'm just saying that that's a possibility from what was shown in the manga. And as he's fighting him, he tries to punch Goro. Goro does something, and he has to sneeze. And this is where the other very famous, feat comes in. As he does this, he sneezes. Goro dodges it. It goes right through, past the moon, destroys the moon, hits Jupiter, hits basically the cloud area of Jupiter, leaves a little bit of a dent. And as it's pushing through, it goes from a little dent to bigger and bigger, and it pushes away the dust particles that hold up Jupiter to the point where you see Jupiter's core. It literally blasts away Jupiter's gas surface, and you just see the core, and half of the planet has been blasted away just by his sneeze. People stated that all of Jupiter got obliterated. No, just half of it. The moon got completely destroyed, but it was already fractured into multiple different tiny rock pieces. But the moon's surface, the Jupiter's surface, got almost completely blown away. It got halfway blown away, and you can see even the core inside it. And then we see later on, while he's fighting Genos is like, he sees the sun, and then he thinks of an idea, and his idea is now to push Saitama into the sun, killing him. He's trying to shove him into the sun to kill him. So he goes and he transports there, and he shoves him there, and then he flies back to Earth in a safe distance so he doesn't get killed. And he thinks that he killed Saitama now. He's like, oh yeah, I killed him, yeah. And we find out, nope, he didn't kill Saitama. Saitama is actually backing right behind him. We find out what happened. When Saitama was getting pushed into the sun, he said I was cold at first, but then I started getting warmer, and I saw a flash, and it startled me. Basically, the heat of the sun, all it did was, at that point, was burn off his clothes and, obliterate it. And he was about to fall into the sun, but he got a little startled, so he farted. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. He farted, and he farted so powerful that he got lunged all the way from the sun to where Goro was, which was like close by the earth. So he got lunged from the sun to the earth within like maybe a couple of seconds from a fart, because Saitama can't fly. So he farted, and his fart was that powerful that it was able to lunge him, but he almost got thrown in the sun, he almost got killed, but he didn't really fall into the sun itself. And as he comes back, he smashes Goro to the ground, hitting him down. Then Goro sees all the people that died, especially this kid that he promised, and he realizes that he messed up. He's like, oh shit, I went too far. I just cared about my power. I wanted to be a hero, but then I became a villain. So then he gave up. He's like, you win, you're stronger than me. There's no way I can beat you. And he said, I want to fix this problem. So he's like, I'm going to go back in time. I want you to go back in time and stop me from, going too far and killing everybody off. I want you to hit me from a point where I didn't, go too far. So as he does this, he basically does a move so Saitama can copy him, because he finds out that also Saitama can copy. So not only can Goro copy other people's moves, but Saitama can also copy other people's moves. The only difference is not only can Saitama copy other people's moves, but he can do it better, and he can do it more stronger, since he's naturally more powerful than Goro. So Goro does this. He tells him, imagine universes inside us. Then he talks about antimatter and positive matter, and they counterclockwise, and that basically, if you mix them, you can go back in time. And this is how they're able to do it. He does it first, showing it to Saitama. Saitama basically copies it and then does it himself. So he showcases that he has the ability to copy other people's abilities and also travel through time by using Goro's thing. Now, they stated universes in them. I don't think they mean literal universe. I think he was just talking about visualizing it, so it's an easier way for him to grab a concept on how to do this, because it is a little more complex than just, hey, look what I'm doing, you can do the same. And then he goes back in time, punches him, he clocks him, so he hits him before, all this stuff happens. So they say it's like he hit him with 0 punches because he went back in time and basically stopped it. He hit him so hard that not only did he take him down, but he made him lose power. He got departed, and then he gets jumped by the rest of the heroes, rightfully so. He basically gets beaten up, and that's the end of that fight. That's basically the end, and that's the max of what we've seen for Saitama. So let's go through some of his feats. I know I went through it already, but I want to go through some of his feats and how powerful they are, and the most powerful feats of his. Now, they mentioned a lot that there was planet-destroying attacks, or their attacks could destroy the planet. So they're obviously planet level at this point. They showed planet level endangering stuff. 2, Goro showcases that he can shoot out gamma bursts of energy like a supernova, just not on the level of a supernova, but he can emulate that. And by doing so, his body naturally produces gamma radiation, which can kill even other superpowered beings, except for Saitama. Saitama can handle it, and the other dimensional guy. Another thing we've seen is Saitama throwing a full power punch and Garou copying it and throwing a full power punch, colliding together, have so much amount of power that they can destroy the earth, and it required this hero to divert that energy into another direction, which leaves a big hole in space, which a lot of people argue either is multi-solar system level or galaxy level. I will get into more of that towards the end because I do want to go through the other ones. Then the other impressive feats we see from them is Saitama being able to put his hand through the moon, flipping it, throwing the entire planet, basically ripping the entire planet as a whole around this entire circumference, tearing it apart into complete rocks, also being able to hit a guy so hard that he hits on every individual piece, and then a sneeze so powerful that it obliterates the moon and is able to blow off half of Jupiter's outer layer, and you could to the point where it gets to the inner core. Also, we see another impressive feat by Saitama being able to move from the sun to the earth within a couple of seconds by just farting. Just a fart enough is powerful enough to launch him through that amount of space. Also, we see that they both can have the ability to copy each other people's abilities, but Saitama on a higher level. Saitama can also travel back in time, so can Garou, but Saitama can do it better. Also, Saitama doesn't remember when he does the memories prior to it, because when he does and he gives Genos the core, he's able to scan the core and it gives him the memories back of everything that transpired because, it was gathering still the information. But Saitama didn't remember. Saitama forgot, and he had to basically explain it to Saitama what happened. Saitama was surprised because the one that punched Garou was the one that was before Saitama went back in time. So Saitama went back in time, that one collided with each other, mixed, and then went back to normal. So that's what happened there. But yeah, he can travel through time, he can do that. Yeah, those are basically all the most impressive feats we saw from this fight. Now, let me go through the fights itself and what I think is super impressive, what I feel about them, and try to calculate how powerful they actually are. So yeah, like I said, let's go through each individual and analyze it. Planet level, we know that's nothing significant. Him destroying the moon by flipping it, that means he can destroy a moon with his bare hands pretty casually. He was able to casually flip the moon and surface and stuff. I'm pretty sure if he was to punch it, he would completely obliterate it. His sneeze is powerful enough to also easily obliterate the moon and also blow away half of Jupiter. Now, I will go through the problems with the argument people are making right there. People are saying that he destroyed Jupiter with his sneeze. No, he didn't. Technically, he destroyed Jupiter's moon, and half of Jupiter's, gas on the Jupiter's planet got blown off, but the other half was still remained, and the core didn't get affected at all. So yeah, this is still an impressive feat. Don't get me wrong. It's still an impressive feat, but it's not planet level, and here's why. One, Jupiter is a planet that's completely comprised of gas. Only the core is solid, but every other part of it's not. It's not like the Earth where it's mostly solid and has rocks and metals and stuff. It's one thing if he destroyed like a planet like that, but he was able to wipe out half a gas giant. And even though it's still impressive to do that to Jupiter, it's still not on the level of blowing away a completely rocky planet. Now let's say it was like a large planet that was made out of rock and solid material instead of gas, then that would have been more impressive. But even if it is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the most massive planet on our solar system, it's still comprised of gas. And blowing away gas through a sneeze is more reasonable than blowing away an entire planet made out of solid rock, So I'm not saying it's not impressive, but I just don't think it's as impressive as people are saying. People are saying that this is solar system, this is planet level. He destroyed Jupiter. One, like I said, he didn't destroy Jupiter. He destroyed half of it. Two, the core was still intact. And three, it was a gas giant, so he mostly wiped out gas. So that's still not that impressive. Also, let's talk about Genos having the galaxies around his body. People saying this makes him galaxy level and Saitama galaxy level. He's able to hurt him. No. Now, when I first saw this, my assumption was it's most likely just a design choice to make him look like that, and that doesn't have any representation of galaxies. And I was right, because there was never a statement or mention about him, being galaxy level, or these galaxies represent anything besides just the design. People assume that while it showcases galaxies moving around, that does not mean they're actually galaxies that are, what contained within him. People made that up, and I feel like that's an over-exaggeration on the, One Punch Man fan base's part. And this is why a lot of people don't really give a lot of people look at One Punch Man's like fan base in a kind of a negative light because they do over exaggerate feats and stuff, and they take them out of context. Just because he has galaxies built into him does not mean he is galaxy level. Now, some of you might argue that big hole in there might be galaxy level, which is reasonable, but this does not equate to him being galaxy level. And I will get to that towards the ending. Also, people make him sound like he's a lot more impressive, but the fact that Garou was going to kill Saitama by throwing him in the sun, and he would have technically died if he didn't fart and fly out of it, that also showcases he's not that powerful. Yes, he's still a powerful being, but a star can kill him. The sun can kill him. So if you were to throw Saitama into the sun or punch him into the sun, he would die. It's not like he can survive the sun. Now he can still survive quite a bit of the heat of the sun because he was still pretty close to it, and all that happened was his clothes got burned off. But that's the difference between the surface of the sun and the core of the sun. The core of the sun is millions of degrees, whereas the surface is like thousands of degrees. So if he was to be thrown in the core, he could have been killed. And there's a reason why they had him come out of it. If he wouldn't have been killed, he would have just been thrown in, had no effect, and just came out himself. So yeah, that also just proves it, and would put him far less lower than a lot of people make himself, because his durability would be star level. Yeah, and basically those are the other big ones. Now let's talk about let's talk about the dimensional thing too. The dimensional thing, I don't know how this makes sense. How are you able to send a shockwave throughout the planet? Not destroying it, but shockwave throughout the planet, and it affects another dimension. How are you affecting another dimension with your striking attack, potency, but not destroying the Earth that is hitting? If it's able to affect another dimension, shouldn't the Earth be getting shattered? That made no sense. So yeah, where do I put Saitama and Garou's power at? Planet level or beyond planet level? Now some of you guys will say, isn't there multi-solar system level or galaxy level because they left a big hole in there? Here's a couple of problems with that argument. One, it was stated by the other guy that the energy would destroy the planet. If it was really that impressive and powerful, he would have specifically stated that it would destroy the solar system or the galaxy itself that it was, this attack was happening on. But he just specifically mentioned Earth. Second of all, if you see the feats after this, none of them are close to solar system, galaxy level, or none of them are close to galaxy level or even solar system level. Just look at it. Destroying the moon through what he did, impressive, but still not considered galaxy level. He sneezed away half of Jupiter, impressive, but still not galaxy level. He almost died by getting thrown in a star. How are you going to say that this guy getting thrown into a star and he would have died if he didn't escape it makes sense, but then also say he's galaxy level? He wouldn't even be solar system level. If you're dying by getting thrown into a star, then how are you able to do that? So yeah, he didn't show any physical feats that would put him on, what's the thing called? On galaxy level or even multi-solar system level. And kicking away the portals thing does not count. He was trying to form the portal, and that you can't really equate it. How do you equate that to solar system level? Where do you get the the feet and stuff? From what was shown, it just seemed like regular portals. That doesn't mean anything. And yeah, I know a lot of you say, well, what about the whole big gap in space? Here's the thing. The thing about a lot of these mangaka and these artists and stuff, they're not scientists. So when they usually do this, these are just for visual aspects. Just like Garou having galaxies drawn on him doesn't mean he has galaxies contained within him, because he didn't show anything galaxy level. So he doesn't have galaxies contained within him, okay? It's just a visual representation. So the big hole, I would equate this to more like a visual representation. And the reason why I say it is there's no consistency throughout this entire fight showing them on solar system or galaxy level or even solar system level, because Saitama is getting stronger and stronger. We see after that point he's getting exponentially stronger, especially on Jupiter. They said he was able to get insanely stronger on Jupiter. Now he's hitting Garou even harder, and Garou is even trying to hit him harder back. And guess what? The amount of power that they're able to generate with their hits is not obliterating the solar system, it's just destroying planets. And Saitama does not have the ability to control his damage radius like Dragon Ball characters. There's a reason why the guy had to transport them out. If he did, he could have contained it, and even if it would destroy a galaxy, he could still fight on Earth without destroying it or putting it in danger. But they were fighting outside of it, and it didn't. Like I said, and people state is multi-galaxies. Those shining stuff could be other stars. Because here's the thing, if it was multi-galaxies that had destruction, wouldn't it have destroyed the Milky Way galaxy? But it didn't. You can see, yes, galaxies on that side, but most likely those can be stars too. There's never been stated by the artist or the writer that those were galaxies. It could most possibly be stars. I think it's more reasonable that those are multi-stars than multiple stars than planets. And I'll equate that to what's the thing called? Multi-star level. Also, I heard people saying that this makes it, he was able to wipe out thousands of stars, so this means that he can wipe out a galaxy. No. That's a gross misunderstatement of wiping out a galaxy. I don't think you guys understand how impressive and how much power it takes to destroy a galaxy. Our galaxy, for example, contains 100 to 200 billion stars in it, meaning 100 to 200 billion star systems in our galaxy alone. And our galaxy is considered quite average, 100,000 light years across. And most galaxies have around that much. Okay. How is he galaxy level if he wiped out thousands of stars? That at most that would be nebula level, or a portion of galaxy, but that would not be galaxy level. I don't know where you guys are getting this. A galaxy contains 100 to 200 billion stars, and you're talking about he wiped out 1,000, and that's like galaxy level or close to it? No, you guys clearly don't understand science or math and how it works. The amount of level of power you would need to go from destroying solar systems to destroying a galaxy is significantly higher. Hundreds of billions of times more power than destroying a solar system to destroy a galaxy. So to say that is a gross over exaggeration. So no, he did not. Even if I was to say he destroyed thousands of star systems, he would not be galaxy level still, or even close to multi-galaxy level. That would put him in high-end multi-solar system level, but not galaxy level. And even the solar system thing, like I said, it's iffy. People say, and like Chuck stated, that, this showcases he destroyed solar systems. But if you look at the consistency throughout the fight, there was no solar system or galaxy in danger throughout their fight, and this was Saitama getting significantly stronger. You saw the incline of his power throughout the progression on Jupiter, and they stated that his power progressed significantly only once when he was on Jupiter, which transpired way after that whole thing, that whole ordeal. And the guy stated it was only going to destroy the Earth. So how does it go from Earth level to multi-star to multi-galaxy level? I highly doubt it. I think this was in the mangaka trying to take it literally, and I've stated this other times. You see sometimes in Dragon Ball stuff, they write down scenes and some people take it literally, like Goku shaking the void. People think this means they're trying to make him infinite this and that. I'm like, no, it was just, it's cool, look, he's able to shake this whole infinite dimension. Isn't that impressive? It wasn't to be taken literally. I think that's the same way with this image where he put a big hole. I don't think this was to showcase that he's multi-galaxy level. So what do I put him at? I would put him at multi-planet level, maybe even solar system level, maybe a couple of times solar system level. But to put him at high-end solar system level, no. I'm not going to put him in multi-galaxy level, complete highball, no evidence that shows that. Even galaxy level I think is way too much. High-end solar system level, way too much. I'll put them at low-end solar system level at most, because all their attacks were talking about destroying the Earth. If they were beyond that, why wouldn't they talk about destroying the solar system? They were talking about all these other impressive stuff they were doing, so why weren't they talking about that? Also, his time manipulating power only works in universes where time works like that, where if you go back in time and stuff and you affect or change something, then it changes the entire timeline. Then that's the time. But there's most other, universes like Dragon Ball, for example. They go by having parallel universes where if you go back in time, it does not affect that timeline. It creates another branch in timeline, and when you affect that, only affects that timeline, and every other timeline gets no effect from it, and it branches off. Whereas in this one, there's only one timeline. You can make a branch, but it destroys the other one, and then it reconnects to a new one to basically change things up. That's how you mostly see conventionally through science fiction. But that won't really work in other universes that work that way. It might work. It will definitely work in like Marvel and DC, where they go a more linear path with time travel. So it will definitely work there, but not in other fictional universes. But I just want to get across. I don't think he's galaxy level. I don't think he's high-end solar system level. I think he's at most maybe definitely solar system level, but I want to say high-end solar system level. Because like I said, if that was the case, then he would have done more damage than, obliterating half of Jupiter with a sneeze, destroying a moon, being stated multiple times to be planet level, and nearly dying from a star. How can you be galaxy level to multi-galaxy level, but almost die by getting thrown into a star? Yeah. So after reading the manga, he is quite powerful. He's definitely shown to be one of the top tier anime characters, one of the top tier fictional characters, but he's just not as powerful as a lot of people made him sound out to be. And I 100% disagree with Chuck's assessment of making him that powerful. I think if we're going by based off that video, I think Buu Saga Goku could definitely beat him. Cell Saga, Cell Saga, Cell, and Goku, I can definitely see people's argument of Saitama beating them, but Buu Saga and the Buu characters, I don't see Saitama beating them. So I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree, saying I'm just a Dragon Ball fanboy, saying this. But disprove me with my arguments where I was, pointing out the fact that he hasn't shown any other feat that it would be on par with Galaxy level or even Soul System level. And that visual scene might showcase that that's a perfect representation, but it could just be an artistic choice that the artist wanted to showcase, hey, look how cool it looks. But it's not literal because there's no real connection to it. It's not very consistent in what we're seeing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for next time.